desires, the programmed desires of the ego mind identity are weak and ineffectual, just like the ego mind identity is weak and ineffectual, which is part of why people have such trouble manifesting wealth. I want to let you know that I am teaching a brand new revolutionary class on how to attract the perfect partner in life, friendship, and business. It will be linked in the comment section and description below. I'll see you in class.
And so how important is momentum in our ability to manifest? I mean, I don't think people just go from 0 to 100K, right? Like there's got to be some steps in between, right?
Yeah. Well, okay. So momentum, let's look at it. Let's think of a train, right? So big, powerful train, or even a rocket, right? It's like all the energy, all the gasoline, all the rocket fuel, right, is used to get it going, right? That's where all of the effort is. And then once you reach a certain point, it's momentum. It's almost like you're being carried, right? So we want to actually get to that. So, and we get to that by working with ourselves properly, and it becomes permanent, because for a goal to be permanent, it must already be present. And when we start to understand that, we start to understand that we are the momentum, and it is our authenticity, and it is working with ourselves optimally, is when it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. So initially there is the work to do, just like to get the rocket off the ground. It goes through what, 95% of its fuel is all in the takeoff, right? And then with a train, it's like all the effort and energy to get it going. And then once it reaches a certain speed, or once the rocket reaches a certain altitude, it's almost just coasting, so to speak. That's the momentum. And this is the key. This is really the key. If we work with ourselves properly and we remove everything, right, we become the momentum. And now we're manifesting based upon who we are. And it isn't this, it doesn't happen by not working with yourself optimally. It doesn't happen by not taking actions. It doesn't happen by wanting things. It doesn't happen through vision boards. It happens through working with yourself properly and optimally, having a clear understanding, a clear, tangible understanding of who you actually are, what money is, and how it actually works. And now there's no friction. None. There's nothing impeding anything. And this is what I mean about the momentum. But we have to start off with the proper understanding of who we are, what money is, and how it operates, and remove everything that is not in alignment with what is. And then once we do that, the momentum is unstoppable.
Absolutely. I love momentum. I also love compounding. Like I think, actions taken over time actually compound. And I think those kind of fall in the same vein. Another thing is, if you guys didn't know this, like RJ's going through a PDF in the money mechanics class, but every single class has homework. And I think that's the work that's going to end up, cleaving things away, as RJ says, and building that momentum for you guys. So highly recommend, if you're somebody that wants to put in the work and maybe you don't know what direction to go, to be sure to check out the money mechanics class, because RJ lays out exactly what to do. Another thing, RJ, in that class, you talked about the cleaving away. We're not adding anything else on top. Do you want to touch on that just real quick? Because I think, a lot of times people are like, oh, are you going to give me another manifestation trick? Like I've heard all of them, right?
Yeah. I'd like to say the more you add, the more you're taking away. Right. And so this is part of what I say. This is how this relates to, we manifest based upon who we are. And we are a divine fractal of God, perfect, whole, and complete as we are. So anything that we're adding onto that is actually taking away from the completeness and the wholeness of who we are, right? So it's not adding mantras and mantras and affirmations certainly have their place, but not until you've cleaved everything away. If you're adding on top, right, and you have all these layers, you're taking away from the completeness, the authenticity, and the power of the self. Right. So all of these classes and courses, if someone wants real results, there's enough information out there. What people need is a solution. Right. And that's what this is. That's what all these classes and courses, they're a solution to how this actually works. Now, the caveat is, if you actually think or believe that you don't have to do any work on yourself, that you're just going to sit there and things are going to manifest, you're out of your mind. You're absolutely out of your mind. That is delusional. Show me one person who doesn't take any actions and can manifest whatever it is that they desire. It's a lie. It doesn't work that way. So if you want to, if you're motivated to work on yourself, I will give you the solution as to how to do it. step by step, literally, as you know, step by step. You do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, and you actually experience tangible results. It is about desire, intention, thought, emotion, action, and behavior in complete unification with who you are while having a tangible understanding of what money is and how it actually works. That's really the formula. And then there's a whole bunch of other things, as you know, that's in there. But anybody can do this if they're taught properly, period.
And one thing I love is you find very quickly how bad you want it, right? Because it's one thing to sit here and watch videos and hear people's success stories. It's another thing to actually put in the work for yourself. So if you guys are, like I said, confused, you don't know what the next steps are going to be, RJ lays them out. Not only does he cleave everything away, he gives you the step-by-step after that. Now, RJ, you kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier, but did the purpose that you had for the money make any difference in your ability to manifest it? Like, because you had a great purpose for it, did it come easier? Or?
Oh, for sure. And that's what this goes back to, the authenticity, right? That's what it's about. This is authentic to who and what I am. So, and this is to raise money for a nonprofit, to be able to get the teachings out there. Hey, this is what happens when you're shadow banned. So this is to get the teachings out there in a very large way. So yes, the authenticity, where the desire was coming from, what the real purpose of it is, and for my entire presence here on this planet, right? It's all related. So absolutely, it plays a major role. Your authenticity, if you're being true to who and what you really are, and the actions, the desires that we have, we know that they're true to who and what we are, is when they benefit us and everyone simultaneously. It's not just for RJ, and it's not just for everyone else. It's both, because I'm not excluded and neither are you. And so when we do this, when there really is the oneness, what this is really about is the oneness. This allows me to keep being a world teacher in this incarnation as RJ. So yes, it's important where it's vital where it comes from, because the desires, the programmed desires of the ego mind identity are weak and ineffectual, just like the ego mind identity is weak and ineffectual, which is part of why people have such trouble manifesting wealth, because they're trying to do it through their character. That's one of the major issues. And so that's why that has to be addressed. And then when it comes from a truly, authentically pure place, that's when magic happens.
I'm glad you said that, RJ. I recently watched this game show, and there was like over 2,000 contestants, and the grand prize was like, it ended up being $10 million. But the guy who ultimately won, his son had a rare disease that it was no cure for, and he had said it multiple times throughout the show that he was in this to win this, so he could put all that money towards it. And it was just such a big vision. Like, I think a big enough why can never come anyhow, right? So I'm just glad that you said that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the resonance of authenticity coming from a pure place. I mean, because that's what is. That's what is. And so when you are that and in alignment with that, the outside world reflects that.
Okay, beautiful. The other thing is, and I think you covered this in class 3, is like the difference between what the self wants or the ego wants. And so those desires are two different things. So just something else that's going to be covered later on in the mechanics of money.
My friend, if you haven't realized it, I am severely shadow banned. They do not want what I talk about and what I share going out anywhere. So what does that mean? It means it's up to you. Like, subscribe, and share these videos. It is the only way the supreme high frequency is going to be disseminated everywhere. It's up to you.